Today, I'm sitting down with actor Jermel Howard, known to a lot of people as Brian's from Power, Shamik from Marvel's Luke Cage, and Lorenzo from The First Purge. He's worked across major TV and film projects. And today, we're getting into the grind behind the roles, what it takes to survive as an actor, and what people don't see about building a career in this business. Jermel Howard, welcome to the TieGame Michael show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, right off the top, be honest. Is acting more about talent, or is it more about surviving long enough for the right people to finally see you?
Well, I mean, I would say that it's a little bit of both of those things. I mean, you got to have some type of talent. But the good thing about acting is that it's not like people just was born with acting talent. It's not like an ability to jump like in basketball or something like that. Like there's something that you can practice and actually fine tune and get great at if you do the work, So I use the motto of preparation meets opportunity. So as long as you prepare, it's about both. It's about you getting the right opportunity and surviving long enough to get the right opportunity, but it's also about sharpening your tools and having, and building the talent and being masterful at the same time.
Okay. Now, before we get into all the great things that you have been able to do in this business, a lot of people know the roles of Jermel Howard. They know the roles. But who is Jermel Howard beyond the screen?
You could say a big science nerd. I love science. Anybody that knows me know that. I'm a pro fist up in the air type of guy, like fighting. Fighting the good fight. Everywhere. So I'm usually shadow banned a lot. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't hold back.
About that.
Yeah, I don't hold back on comments about stupidness that's going on. I'm a father, and a son, just like most people.
Now, when did acting for you? When did it? Well, first, when did you first get into acting? Like, how old were you?
I think I had to be like 24, 23 or something like that. I was on tour. I used to open up. I was in the music, and I used to open up shows for Fat Joe, but I wasn't getting paid, so I was like still struggling, and I was backstage, and a guy was like, "Yo, you got a good look and you got good character. You should try to get into the film thing." And then I was in the city. I never thought about it before that. And I was in the city, and I was walking past this open audition for a Burger King commercial. And I was just telling me, walk in and try this thing out. And I walked in and I booked it. I was like, oh, I booked it. And they paid me. I booked it. I did the commercial. It became a national commercial, and I ended up getting I think like I had like $20,000 for that commercial, and it just changed my life. I was like, oh no, this is what I want to do. This I didn't have to argue, fight. I ain't had to do nothing. I just worked and got my money. So yeah, that it started around back then for me.
$20,000 will do that to you. Now,
sure will.
Quick sidestep. You said you was on tour with Fat Joe.
Yeah, opening up shows. I wouldn't say on tour with them, but I was the opening act. Yeah.
Okay, now quick question. Did you hear when Fat Joe said that he robbed the whole gymnasium as a youngster, and they all just stood there and let him rob them? Did you hear about that?
Nah, I didn't hear that. What was that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was on like his podcast, and he was saying how basically how he was feared and everything like that, and he robbed his whole class when he was in school, his whole gymnasium. And
well, I could say that. Yeah, I could say that. I don't know. I didn't know him when he was in school because I didn't grow up where he grew up at. But I'm from New York, but I'm not from the Bronx.
Okay.
But I know that he was a street dude. I don't know to what degree, but I've been around been around him to know that at least that much. In his circle, his family, and one of his uncles was my manager at the time, and they were
Okay.
all pretty much in the street people. So it is possible, man.
He had I had to take that side step real quick because he has a he had a lot of us rolling. Now I'm not saying it ain't true, but
Right, right.
he's a great person to tell stories because he keeps it interesting.
Yeah,
Now we about to
he
sidestep
do.
back.
Right, right.
Okay, so after you got that 20,000, that's when it's acting stopped feeling so much like a dream and more so like a reality. Because that 20,000 in your hand, you was like, okay,
Well,
this is reality.
the hustle started feeling like the reality. I wouldn't say the other, because I was looking at it from the position I was in, and everything is perspective based. So from my perspective at that time, it was just I needed money. So
Right.
it started seeming like a hustle to me, and that's all. Like I felt like, is this just a hustle to get to the next thing? Now I loved it. There's a lot of money, so it was the hustle for me. But
Okay.
and when I booked Marvel Luke Cage, that's when
Mhm.
it became a reality to me that this is what I really want to do. Because I was a big Marvel fan when I was a kid, and when I booked it, I'm sitting in my trailer and I'm getting dressed, and I can hear the director and producer from Marvel outside the trailer, and he's just like, "Is
Mhm.
Jamel ready?" Jamel, and I hit him talking, and that hit me different. It was like, "Hey,
Okay.
Marvel director and producer, they are asking me, am I ready?"
Right.
And outside of my trailer, and from that point, it was like I really wanted to be good in this. I want to master the craft, So I then start diving into actually getting pay attention to things like what Will Smith was saying, and these guys, Chadwick Boseman, Denzel, of course, and start absorbing what they were saying and techniques and things that they were using, and that took me to the next level.
Okay. Now you said that when you was on the set of Luke Cage and the director's asking if you was ready, is when it really hit you. Um, did you believe in yourself? Did you believe that that was possible? Was it just so mind blowing, or did you always have faith in yourself? Like, listen, I can take this as far as I'm willing to take it.
In film specifically, I didn't know who I was in that yet, but
Okay.
I know who I was, if that makes sense, because like I was the person that I took my last $300. I bought a plane ticket and I had $300 left and moved to LA. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like I always knew, like I'm an Aries. Like we jump off the building and build the plane on the way down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the motto. So I knew I'm supposed to do something, and I separated myself from different things and different circles just so that I can focus and find me. But I always knew I was supposed to do something great. Since a kid, I was doing taping little videos with the old school camera with the tape in it, and me and my brothers used to tape each other acting like fools, and then we make up a skit and then play it for my mother, and so those things have always been a part of me. And when I got into music, it was like, wait a minute, I'm actually good at this. And then I start battling people. Then I'm end up meeting Fat Joe and his people, and then doing a video. It was on BT, and then all of these things. But it just wasn't. That was just a step to get to where I am and what I'm doing now. So I knew I was supposed to do something. I seen the signs. It just I didn't. I wish I would have read them earlier. But
right.
everything happened in the time that it's supposed to. But I think I've always had it in me that I'm going to do something.
Mhm.
Just looking at the alignment and reading how the universe align things to tell you what that's supposed to be.
So you said that you also used to battle when you was doing your music.
Oh
So
yeah,
I take it you're into battle rap, URL, RB,
yeah. I used to
KOTD.
watch it. I haven't, I'm not. I don't stay up with it, but I used to watch it a lot. Back a while back when it was like, really, really popular and hitting. Um, Yeah, I used to watch it a while back. I done battled J. Cole. I battled a lot of people.
Mhm.
I was a little kid in a circle battling in back in the days when they had Greek Fest and those things.
Right.
And I'm standing in the circle, and Biggie was in the circle, and Lauryn Hill, and I'm battling in the circle with them. So it like I was a battle rap
Uh,
guy for real,
all right,
you
man.
know.
You about to make me spit some bars on here, man. We don't,
Okay, all
you
right.
know, I don't want to do
Let me
that.
hear
Yeah.
something.
I'm just messing with you. So you said you battled J. Cole?
Yeah, so he said something. J. Cole came to Madison Square Garden and said something real weird about New York, specifically Long Island. I'm from Long Island, and
Okay.
he said something specifically, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's in Madison Square Garden. How's he in New York talking about New York? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So, I responded to that. His manager reposted it, tweeted it, and all of that, and then it was I literally it's the equivalent of what you would call biting somebody's whole brain
okay.
off because I went at him, but
Okay.
yeah that
We
was a
got this
while
on
ago.
tape anywhere? We got this on video anywhere? Is it out
I
there?
got I'll send it to you. I got it's a song. I send it to you. Not a song. It's a battle verse.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
got
look
it.
forward to hearing that.
Yeah.
Now, um, with your career going as good as it's going, had there ever been times that you felt like quitting? You know, felt like giving up, like, man, I'm gonna just leave this alone for one reason or another?
Yeah, man. I mean, people go through those moments a lot. And it seemed for me personally, in my experience, it's always when I'm thinking like that, that I'll be like randomly like in the mall or something or walking and I get the thought and then somebody like, yo, can I take a picture with you? You was on Power, right? And it hit me right there, like, all right, and it shakes me back out of that energy. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
it's always when I'm in one of those moments, like, yeah, I gotta, I'm feeling like I need to be moving more. I need to do this more or something, and then I'll get that almost like I guess you would call that moment of clarity, like you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, type thing.
Mhm.
It happens to me a lot, and at the right moment in those moments. So it auspicious, but it lines up. You know what I'm saying? And those be like the moments that just get me back focused and back clear. So especially during those times with TV, we were being hit. We was protesting, boycotting networks and stuff at one point.
Right.
We was and then you had COVID and all of these
Mm.
things, that lasted a few years. The boycotts lasted a couple years. Like it's a stretch that damaged film and television that we barely recovered from. And we just now is starting to come out of that, out from under the umbrella of all of that. And
Mhm.
it's still a hard moment. That's why I got into writing and creating my own.
Right.
But anytime I was in any of those funky moments, I always get some type of sign of alignment.
So if you in one of those depressed moments, your fans is what keeps you going then pretty much.
100%, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you mentioned Power. Um, what did Power do for your visibility as an actor?
Well, it heightened my visibility. See, at that time, Power was the top show in the country, right? And probably like top 10 in the world at that time.
Mhm.
And at the same time that came out, first of all, I was a big fan of the show before I even got on there. So I
Okay.
was watching it, and I got a call to do a read. And when I go do the read, they was like, no, you good, and they want to bring me on and for a table read. And I'm like, okay. And I go to the table read, and everybody show up. Like, I mean, it's
Mhm.
50 Cent there, Mari Hardwick walk in, Michael Rainey walk in, uh, you know, guy that played Tommy walk in. Like, everybody came in, right?
Right.
So I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm in. so Courtney Kemp, who's the executive producer, she just was like, we're glad you were part of the team. And I was like, well, I was a fan before this. I'm like, she was like, yeah, we always was, watching you. We seen a couple of things, so we just trying to figure out where we could fit you at. I was like, oh, you was watching me, okay? What I'm saying? I
I
was
must have
watching
been doing
y'all.
something right. Right.
Yeah. So we got cool. And yeah, it heightened my career. And at that same time, actually, Luke Cage was coming out in the same month. So it was like I had two, and Luke Cage was the first black superhero of Marvel series that they did, which was a big deal. And both of them came out at the same time. So
Right.
it kind of slingshotted me to a whole different eyeball of the United States. Because now
A different
everybody,
atmosphere.
yeah, it's a different thing. Especially, Marvel is a different thing. I had fans sending me letters and stuff like, oh, we just need your can I just get you? Let me show you. Yeah, fans like sending me these letters like, can I just get your character from Luke Cage? Can we just can you sign it and send it? I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'm in the Marvel universe now. You know what I'm saying? Now I just need to get the powers,
Right.
But yeah, so it was cool. It put me at a different stratosphere for sure. Both of those projects.
Okay, so when you own Power, or even like Luke Cage, Power Luke Cage, Brian's Luke Cage movie, Shamik, what type of mind frame do you have to get put in mentally to become those characters? Because the best actors got to actually become the character so it'll translate well on screen. So
Of course.
how do you do it? Like, what's your mindset like to get into character?
Well, for one, a good lesson for any actors you got watching. The best acting is when you really not acting. You know what I'm saying? So finding a way to drop some this is what I use, and a lot of people it's kind of like partly called method acting. But you kind of find some type of truth in your life that can relate, and you drop it in there in this circumstance. So when it's time to be mad, and I have one of my brothers, my youngest brother was killed when he was young, and
sorry to hear that. Condolences.
yeah, thanks. So I kind of tap into the moment I first got the call, and that puts me in the energy that I need to be in. If it was something like that, for Power, I pretty much I'm from the street, so I grew up projects. I grew up in the street. I grew up, Hempstead Terrace Avenue, Freeport, Roosevelt. Like I grew up in the areas in LA where it was rough. So that's easy to tap into, those parts. The challenging things to do is the things when you stepping outside of going against all characters, or you've seen, and it's something totally different. Like when Denzel did, he did the Roman character, Gladiator. Those are things that you're not used to seeing Denzel do. Now here comes the challenge when he step outside of, what you're accustomed to doing. And so those roles, I pretty much knew somebody similar or been through some of those situations. So it wasn't really that difficult to tap into.
Okay. Now, what would be the difference right now, just from your perspective? What would be your top 3 to you biggest credits? Like, would it be Power, Luke Cage, The Purge? What would be your top 3?
I will say, well, yeah, The Purge for sure is the top one.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Power, definitely, because at the height of everything, it was the top show in the country, and I had a prominent role in that. So I would say Power for sure. And my third top, I'm gonna say I like to play people. Like I have to look at my wall with all my things on the wall to see which
Okay.
role. But I like to play people like I like to do biopic work and things like that. So I'm gonna say the Salt and Pepper project. The Salt and
Okay.
Pepper project where I played Tretch. And I got a chance to actually become somebody. You know, when you watching people like Chadwick Boseman, and he's doing James Brown and just masterful work because you can actually compare it to something that's real. You know,
Mm,
and you make up a character. That character, nobody knows who that is, so you can you can do it like you want. But when you're playing James Brown, you have to be James Brown. So
yeah.
you get to test your skill of can I become this guy, and that's what
Mm,
made me fall in love with like being a real character, playing a biopic character. So I'm gonna say Tretch in the Salt and Pepper movie. That would be my number three.
okay.
I had to become Tretch, you know what I'm saying? Which, he's from Jersey and I'm from New York and I live in Jersey. So I'm pretty familiar with the culture of where it was at around that time.
And I'm down with
And
OPP.
yeah. Right. Yeah, that's my guy, man. I remember I met him when I got booked for the Salt and Pepper movie. I met him
Mm,
and before I shot it. And I was at Ice T house and he was watching the Super Bowl. We had like a Super Bowl party and we all watching it. And then he Tretch came in and he's like
mm.
best friends with Ice T. And then Ice T introduced us. He's like, yo, it's my man Jermel right here, man. He in everything, man. You gonna like him. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, he told him I was playing him. He was like, yeah, I know, I heard you was playing, and we chopped it up. He's like, yeah, I got my own version of that though. That's their version. A
Mm.
lot of that, I got a different view. I was like, all right, well, let's do your story and I'll play you again. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So yeah, we became cool after that. So to this day, a couple of projects that I wrote, like one sci-fi project I wrote that we about to be shopping now. Tretch is actually in that. He's a good friend of mine.
Okay. Now I have a question. This is going to be very, very vague because I don't want to
Okay.
mess up your bag. I don't want to mess up your bag because
Okay.
I know how 50 Cent is. So we gonna keep this very respectful, all right?
Yeah, that's the big homie. That's the
We
king.
right. We'll keep this
Uh,
very respectful.
okay.
How's it like meeting 50 Cent? What type of person he is, and what type of things has he taught you to further help yourself as an actor
Um, First
or in the business?
when I first met him, I I kind of was like had a thought in my head already, like from what I've seen, and you put together things. But I could tell you this, it was totally the opposite. Like 50, he's more like Big Brother. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? When you meet him, you'll know. It's nothing like the trolling and the stuff on Instagram and all of that. He's
Mm-hmm.
literally like, if you're, as long as you ain't the enemy, he's Big Brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he has shown me that. Like it's times when I called and I had it. I write now, so I wrote a couple of things, and I was like, I want to run this by you. Let me
Mm-hmm.
know what you think. And they like his team is like, well, where you at? And then he's telling me he's gonna pull up. I'm like, he's not pulling up on me right now. I'm across the street from Madison Square Garden at this
Right.
bar, and an hour later he pulls up, and and checks everything out. I had like these trailers for these shows, and checks everything out. Now he had like 30,000 things going on, so he couldn't really pick my stuff up. But he's just like, I think it's a great idea. I think you should do it. It's great. I love it. And marketing, you got everything together. You know, so basically, he was just basically. What I learned from him is why am I waiting for the perfect moment and peace? Like put your thing together. Put it
Right.
together. Shoot it. He's like, what you waiting on? Shoot the thing. And it was
Mm.
like more like I'm Jermel Howard. He's like you Jermel Howard, bro. Like you could do that type of thing and just put together your team and shoot, and which is what I did, and end up, having a few projects now on BET. I produced a project, Left Eye Lopez, Andre Rising story on Apple. And I
So
got this.
so you produced that. That's
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And also I Got Problems on BET. I wrote that and produced. So yeah, he's been more, his energy is more like Big Brother than what it seemed like on social media,
Okay.
and as long as you don't cross him. Very,
I'm
very
about to say he seems simple, like don't cross
yeah,
him, don't become the enemy, and
that's it.
don't owe him money.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, well, that's good because I do feel like he be tossing a lot of people alley oops. Like even the situation with him, Ti, everybody's benefiting from that. You know what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
So everybody's
It's
benefiting
free
from that.
marketing. It's free marketing. That's all it is. And he did it for Dame. He did it for. It's just up to you to catch the alley oop and do the right thing with it.
Right.
But he did it for a lot of people, man.
I be trying to tell people 50 helps more people than if you can look past. He masters social media.
That's
so
it.
he know what's going to get the eyes and the clicks. That don't necessarily mean he actually have a real issue with you.
Right. Because he'll walk past you on a damn plane, and it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he said he made an interesting comment about real problems anyway, not the the TI thing and all of those type of things. The real problems that he got. He's like, what's my problem? When people got a problem with me, I don't have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a problem with having a problem. That's his thing. So, and it makes sense. It's like, I don't got no problem with nobody, but if you got a problem, I don't have a problem having a problem. I was like, yeah, that's kind of like the philosophy. That makes sense.
So tell me, what was the hardest role for you to play? Like, what role was the hardest for you? Not which one you like playing the best, but which one was the most difficult?
The most difficult role, I'm gonna say, was this is two. Physically, it was The Purge, because I had to do all my own stunts. It's a lot of action stuff there. I got 2 AKs doing spin. So I'm like, listen, this shit heavy. You know what I'm saying? So for me to jump up, like they wanted me to jump off the ground from off my back, like jump up with 2 AKs and just with the AK. I'm like, listen, these things, they real AKs. So I'm like, yeah, you can't do 16 takes of that. It's impossible. So I had to adjust. I'm like, oh, listen, I'm gonna be on a knee and pop up from my knee. I ain't come from pop up from flat on my back. So that was a
Michael.
Right. So or Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise do a lot of his own stunts. But yeah, so that was a little difficult. And then I'm gonna say one of the most difficult roles was in Power, emotionally for me, because when you kill a person in a movie, it really today it just really looks real and it feels real. Like in one episode, I shot the white lady in the head in the bed, and when I shot her, like it looked crazy, and I kind of was froze for a second, like, oh damn, I really just it messed with me psychologically for a second. So I'm gonna say that was difficult. That was one of the difficult things. Yeah.
Now, are you an actor that can remember their lines easily, or do you do a lot of improv, like on the spot stuff?
No, well, you don't want to do a lot of improv when you're dealing with big productions or big studio films or things like that, because they will be mad at you. The writers are right there. They like, say what I wrote. And unless you unless you're Denzel, at the end of the day, Denzel gets the green light to do what he wants. But you pretty much need to stay close to what they're writing. But I have a technique to remember. I break break a whole script. Let's say it's a movie. I break the movie down in different sections.
Okay.
We call acts. Like act one, these things are happening in act one. Act two, these things are happening. And I break them down into acts. So a movie might break down into 7 to 10 acts, right? And in between those, I record myself reading as this is what I teach in my class. I record
Mhm.
myself reading as everybody else and leave my part in my brain. I don't say my part out loud. And then I go
Right.
back and press play and I'm playing all their parts. And now I read my part with them,
Oh, okay.
and that trains your brain to pick it up faster.
I'm gonna take them notes and steps.
Yeah,
And
yeah. I teach
working
that
on
at
some
my class.
programs.
hmm I teach a
Okay.
class in the Bronx. So
Mhm.
at Lincoln Hospital for the kids
Okay.
that been through like gun violence and stuff like that. So that's one of my techniques I teach.
And how well is that going? The I'm pretty sure the students are really appreciating that because that's a big thing to help out, with the community like that.
Oh no, no, no. They love the program. Lincoln Hospital, my guy James, he's the manager over there. He loves the program. And this is probably gonna be like they're gonna make it a regular thing. I did it as volunteering to do it this year, last year. But now this is gonna be a regular thing. So they love the program. I also brought them another program to which I'm partnered with Meta on is with teaching kids trades and like welding, CTE trades, HVAC, nursing, carpentry, those things, and I brought that to them as well.
And see, it's things like that, like with you helping the kids and stuff like that, that really make people like you. And I think that's so important for like us as the audience or the consumer to like the person. It helps because no matter what you do, you'll have their support. So if
Absolutely,
you in this movie, they want to support you. You doing this show, they want to support you because they didn't bought into you as a person. You know
indeed,
what I'm saying?
indeed.
Like
And
Mr.
yeah,
Howard's a good
which should
person.
be it should be normalized anyway, like
Mhm.
people doing out extending themselves out to do things to help the next generation. That should be normalized. It shouldn't be like that's a big thing. It should be like that's
Right.
what we all are doing, but yeah, it does help you connect to human beings,
Mhm.
where people could see you're an actual human being.
Right. With you being in the business, this place that we call, a lot of people may still call it Hollywood or whatnot. Even though they say Hollywood is definitely changing these days. What does Hollywood get wrong about black men on screen that you feel, if anything?
um I feel that for a while there's been like a, a misconception about us, just far as actually, you know what, I'm gonna say this. They it hasn't been enough uh opportunity like it
Okay.
was, like it is now. It's a lot of more opportunities now because even like I was saying in my favorite Marvel, that was my favorite series, it wasn't a
Right.
lot of black superheroes in Marvel on TV,
Right.
and now a lot of that has changed. So I'm gonna say today it's people are more open to just including us in more in the bigger pictures and the bigger projects. But a long time ago it wasn't like the easiest thing to do. So
Okay.
right now we're in a good space. And especially now that everybody's creating and writing and creating their own thing. So we're able to create our own lane. We don't have to really wait for anybody.
Okay. Now, so basically, we're making progress, people. Progress is
Yeah,
being made.
absolutely.
Do you feel that actors can get boxed in too easy? Like, how hard, like for you, how hard is it to avoid being typecast once people recognize you for a certain energy?
Well, then that's just it depend on what your focus is and what you trying to do, because some people are okay with that. Some people are okay. You got people like, let's say Betty Wright, God bless the dead. Betty Wright used to be, she's known as the promiscuous auntie all the time, or the grandmother that may have a little dirty mouth here and there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, she got cat and she kept that role and she kept doing that well. She didn't mind that. When you see, let's say, who else got is cast like that you always see as the bad guy, or some people like it. So it depends on what you trying to do. So for me, I started out doing a lot of just gangster, thug gangster. I didn't mind doing that. It was easy for
Right.
me to do, but I wanted to do it at another level. So now, had to turn down the one-liners, and once you get to a certain level, you're just like, I can't do that no more. I can't do the
Right.
one line, come in. I can't do the straight, I come in and just die or get killed and not, so you start turning things down. If you're trying to change what comes to you, you got to change who you think you are. And once I start turning those things down, I start getting opportunities for bigger roles. And then once you show up, you prepared. Preparation meets opportunity. You prepared for
Right.
what you're trying to transition to. Then you're gonna get an opportunity sooner or later, and then you just got to nail it. And now nobody's looking at you as the guy that got one line no more. They looking at you as, okay, this is one of the main guys.
Right.
So that's how I transitioned from. I didn't care about being the bad guy, or getting typecast into being the bad guy. I just wanted a bigger role as the bad guy, or
Right.
whatever it was, just something bigger with it. So it didn't bother me. So, but how I transitioned was I just started turning down the things that I didn't want and said, "No, I'm
Okay.
gonna pass on that. I'm gonna pass on that. It's only two lines, so I'm gonna pass on that." And then it started becoming bigger and bigger and bigger as I nailed those opportunities.
All right. Now, I want you to tell me, because by every sense of the word, you are an actor who has made it. I would consider you to have made it. You didn't been on huge platforms, huge movies, huge TV series. You didn't made it. When somebody say you made it, right? But
Right.
but what's the biggest myth about making it as an actor? Like, what's the myth that a lot of people think, but it's not like that for real? Like, what's the biggest misconception about somebody making it in the industry?
One, that they got $1 billion. 'Cause you got to tell my family that every day. Like, no. Two, if you line up everybody in a straight line, and everybody in the world, and you say on your mark, get set, go, and they racing, and then you freeze them in the next 5 minutes and say, stop wherever you at. It's gonna
Right.
be somebody in front of somebody, like, no matter where you are, it's gonna be a person
Mhm.
in front of that person and a person behind that person,
Right.
right? So the biggest thing I had to remember was that no matter where you get to, you always gonna feel like you ain't in front of somebody else. And
Mm,
no matter where you get to, it's always somebody behind you, like, I want to be where you at. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So the target is, it moves, the goalposts move when you become quote unquote successful. The
Okay.
goalposts move because it's like, oh, I'm successful, but I didn't cross over to $10 million or nothing yet. Like, Denzel get $20 million a role every movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that, you measure your success against somebody that's ahead of you, which is wrong. Like, we need to just start being, celebrate where you are, but
Mhm.
and be grateful where you are, and then move forward at your pace.
Right.
And have your own goalposts. Don't put nobody in front of you that you're trying to best them. It's more like, I got to be the better version of myself and beat me who I was yesterday. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And once I start doing that, I'm not really looking to be Denzel or have more movies than this person. I'm just looking to put out great material, and to the best of my ability, and perform and have a masterful performance, so that people can be like, hey, listen, he can act. That's a good
Right.
actor. You know, that part is satisfying to me.
Okay, now that's a good thing that you just said because I can segue into this. When you said people's looking like he can act, that's a good actor. But from what you have seen in the industry, do you feel that the industry is looking for great actors, or are they looking for more of the quote unquote marketable type, where they be like, man, this person can't act their way out of a paper bag, but they got the look,
They
so we're
got,
gonna go ahead and throw them in there.
that is, there's a balance of that is going on for sure. And you know, but I think that it's coming back around to you got to show something. You got to show some type of acting skills. I mean, there's been a wave of Tubi and things like that that has allowed people to just throw, you know, something they put together on the iPhone that didn't have really any professionalism to it, and they just was throwing it up. After a while, Tubi even stopped that, you know. So
Mhm.
they're like, all right, now they got a different standard because it's coming back to, all right, we're gonna actually appreciate the craft and respect the craft in the processes of the craft. So I think it's turning around and coming back. But there's a balance. I mean, you still have to be, you know, I think there's still a bunch of projects and producers and productions that are only looking for marketable. You know, and I get pulled into some stuff. You know, some people ask me to be a producer on some projects, and I'm like, "Who you got?" And they name like 10 underground rappers and shit. I'm like, I don't know about. Let me think about that. Let me see they real, or see if they what kind of
Right.
acting they, because it ain't just about, you know, I'm a student of the craft, and I respect the craft, so I'm not gonna short it anyway by just throwing a bunch of people on screen and just to
Right.
complete a project. I want it to actually make sense and be good. So I look for talent
Okay.
at first. You know, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, their name is Denzel or they somebody that nobody's ever heard. Talent is talent. You know, in
So,
my eyes anyway.
okay, so at this point, would you say that actors get more opportunities from the relationships that they may have? Get more opportunities from the relationship they may have than the skill?
Yeah, yeah. I would say that no. I would say that it's a little bit of both of those things. But your relationships is going to take you over the line. You know, so where you have skill at. I mean, I've been in a situation where I've read for a superhero role, and because somebody else is down to me and another guy, that they had their writers, the writers of the superhero show, is the same. They're represented by the same management company as the guy that was that got the role. So it was, if it was down to me and him, they're gonna give it to him because the relationships. Of course,
Right.
he represent the writer. They all in the same management company. He's gonna get it. So those relationships can take you over the, you know, cross you
Over the
over the
top.
line, but you still need to be able to get to that spot, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? To get crossed over the line, you still got to have some type of talent. Like there's no escaping doing the work and putting the work in. You know, preparation meets opportunity. I keep saying that, and it's the truth.
Would you say that would you think it's better to be a working actor or to be briefly famous? And what I mean by that is we have a lot of actors and actresses that they stay in a lot of movies, but they may not be as famous as certain people, right? But that
Yeah.
person who's famous can't keep it going, but they was really famous for a brief moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's better to be a working actor that's continuing work but may not get up there, or to get up there but only for a brief moment?
I think a working actor is going to be better. Today, to be famous, you can be, you know, you can go viral on the social media and people claim that as fame, you know, and then be nobody remember you in the next, you know, year.
Mm.
I would rather be a working actor because you can leverage that to do a lot more, you know. And for me, you know, even there's people that don't really watch a lot of stuff that I've been in because they don't watch a lot of the gangster stuff like with BMF or Purge or whatever. And they like, I know your face from somewhere, but you know, did we go to school together? And I'm like, nah, you probably seen the trailer of Purge or some Power, and they like,
Right.
oh yeah, that's what, you know. So it's just a matter of connecting dots if you are actually a consistent working actor versus if I don't, there's people that's not on social media at all like that,
Right.
and they'll miss the wave because the wave change every 2 days, and it's like, damn, that was in and now it's out. That you didn't see that thing, the viral thing, it was in. No, I didn't see it. Well, that's good. It's gone. It's in and out, and you should want to be a master in a craft, and then that whatever you masterful in, it'll draw the attention you need anyway. Being famous, you can do something stupid and be famous. You can,
Right.
smack an old lady and they go viral, and now you're famous. That's the guy that hit that old lady, man. And
Right.
then, like, does that make you, a good person? Does it make you great? Does it make you masterful in any craft? Is you don't have no talent. It's just you became famous for doing something, whether that be silly or whatever. So I'd rather be a working actor for sure.
Okay. So what is some of the sacrifices that you had to make in your life to get to this point that you are? Like a lot of people, sometimes they lose relationships, sometimes they get into it with
Yeah.
family members. What are some of the sacrifices that, not necessarily saying it was your fault, but it just didn't align with where you was heading in your life?
Yeah, I had to I've been in a spot, I've been homeless twice, and I had to move into a state that I've never been to before and end up being homeless there, which is how I end up meeting a writer that taught me the skill of writing going through that period. And that was a huge sacrifice. That was a huge risk, that I took. Then, when my daughters was born, at the time, after I would say about when they were like 5 or 6, and I start really finding myself and chasing this thing. There was a lot of times I missed a lot of moments with them chasing
Okay.
what I had to chase,
Right.
but today they older, so we always talk, and they like, man, we figure that out, like, what I'm saying. But yeah, so I missed a few moments, but nevertheless, I was in communication. It wasn't like I disappeared or nothing, but
Right.
yeah, but those moments is physically being there. That was some sacrificing as well.
Do you how do you handle your fans? Like, you got some actors that no matter who asks them for a picture, they always will take it, regardless or what type of mood they in. Then you got other actors that's like, listen, I'm a human being too. I may not be in the best mood today to take a picture or sign this autograph or anything. Like, how do you handle people running up on you from recognizing you and wanting to take pictures and autographs?
So I got a thing. My thing is I never ever have ever turned down an opportunity to take a picture with a fan. Like, I've never, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, I've never turned down that opportunity. Now, there's the boundary. Now, if I'm in the men's stall in the bathroom or something, don't ask me for no picture. But
Right.
aside from something, interpersonal like that, I never turned down a fan for taking a picture.
Okay. So I'm sure then that means you love all your fans, and I'm pretty sure all your fans have great things to say about you because you never turned down a picture as long as
Absolutely.
it's at an
Yeah.
appropriate time.
Well, I don't want to say they all love me. I got cursed out on the train one time because of Orange is the New Black. Because I'm the one that got this girl locked up in Orange is the New Black, and
Mhm.
this lady was like, "Oh, you ain't, you no good," and she just went off on me. I'm like, you got people thinking I'm really like wilding out.
You
That she's
taking the
talking
road
about a
too
show.
far, man.
Yeah, yeah, she's talking about a show, y'all. That's what she talking about. But yeah, so I think she really don't like me. Not to mention, there are a couple of characters that it's like I watch Game of Thrones, and the lady that plays the kid that plays the prince, that's the Lannister, the young boy that was crazy. I
Mhm.
don't think I can ever just see him and be like, yeah, good job, or I want a picture. I just don't like, he did it too well. He did all
Mhm.
that too well. Like, so
That's how you know
I'm
you did
sure
a
there's
great
some,
job.
yeah, he did a great job for sure. So there's some people that's just hold on to characters like that.
Now, what would you say is the craziest thing that has ever happened on set? On any, you could pick any of your sets that you was on. What was the craziest thing that you would say ever happened on set?
Craziest thing had the craziest thing to me had more to do with work. Meaning the director, Gerard, that was the director of The Purge. He decided right before 2 hours before we shooting the scene that he would rewrite it and change the whole thing. And I've been studying this thing for weeks. So now I'm like, wait a minute, we about to shoot that now. You're gonna change it now? Like, and he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, and he rewrote the whole thing, and I had to learn it within no time, really, so that, and then once we shooting it, he's like, and I don't even remember the words, of course, because we just wrote it.
Right.
And he's like, we starting to just go through the practice of it, and I'm not getting the words all the way. And he's like, listen, pulled me to the side. He said, listen, Universal is right there. That's Universal. You got Blumhouse right there. He said, learn the words. I was like, okay. I
Right
said,
now,
well,
right
yeah.
now.
He's like, right now. So by the time that they said they was ready to shoot and they called action, though, I had it in the bag.
What's the worst thing that has ever happened to you um while you has been in this industry? What's the worst thing that you would say?
I don't really look at things as being like a worse thing, because I think that everything is like it's lessons for something. So the worst thing that can happen is you not get a role that you really want. To me, everything else is lessons, and you learn it from your experiences. So I never really had a worse thing. There's nothing I've ever done that or seen that has been like a bad, crazy bad thing. It's just been some lessons. That's all.
So you said you said, okay, if you had to pick something, you'll say get in a role. Can you take us through like that, like the main, I know it probably happens different ways, but what's the main process of somebody booking you? Like, do they go to your agent, then go to you? Do they see you and say, hey, come sign for this movie? Like, how would a person get booked if they trying to get booked for a TV series or a movie? What can they do to get
Well,
booked?
that's two different questions.
Okay.
And, for me, for right now, because I'm a known face. Most of the time, a casting director would call my manager and say, "We want Jermel to read for this role." Um, there's times when you might get a project that's a smaller project, and they might say, "Listen, we have an offer, and you don't have to read for a role. That's just an offer." Um, which, like, people like Denzel will get just offers. You don't have to read for a role no more.
Right.
And so you get to that point where everything is an offer. But for now, it's mixed for me. Like, I still have to read for some. I still get I get a couple offers here and there. So that's pretty much the process. They will call management. Management will say, you know, this is the role they want you to read for, and I'll prepare it and then read for the role. As far as a person just trying to get something to read, they have to find open auditions, book something, and then get representation after they book something. And
Okay.
that way they have something to stand on. Like, I booked this or I booked that. I have a couple of small one-liners here and there and this, and you have something to show. And then you look for a manager, and then your manager will do his job or her job as representing you.
Okay. Now, what do you want your name to stand for in this industry?
Is what it's been standing for. I mean, what I stand for is speak for itself. There's no set that I've ever went on that anybody can question my integrity, my work ethic, or my professionalism. Like, those are the things that you need to make sure that are your pillars when you are in this business. If you want somebody else to continue to work with you, or you want your name to move forward, you have to use those three things as your pillars. And which they are. Like, when I left the set of Marvel Luke Cage, I bought everybody a thank you card, like everybody, producers, acted like everybody appreciated making the dream come true. This Marvel is one of my favorite things, and and Cheo Coker, the writer, he just was like that. That was a really classy thing to do, bro. And we got cool after that. But just being human, being a human being and not a human doing, it gets you further in this industry than anything. But using those things as your pillars, I want to be known for having the integrity that I do have, and those things are important to me.
Now, let's just say, because people gonna see this, actors are gonna see this, and let's just say they talented, but they're discouraged. Mm-hmm. They want to get into business, but they're discouraged. Everything seems to be going wrong in their life. They ain't getting no callbacks. What would be your advice to that actor?
Listen, you got Facebook, you got Instagram, you got TikTok, you got all these places where you can actually meet directors and meet people with equipment and cameras and stuff like that. You connect. You know what I'm saying? Stop waiting is what I do. I don't just wait for that. I'm shooting my own projects and things. So connect with people that got equipment and shoot. Offer your services, connect, shoot. Like the more you out and doing things and working, the more you're going to connect with more people, and one thing will lead to the other, and you'll be in the circles you're supposed to be in sooner or later.
All right, that's good right there. I got one more question because I have to ask it. A friend of mine found out I was interviewing you, and she wanted me to ask this question: are you married, single, or looking?
I don't answer those questions on public platforms.
Okay. She's like, make sure you ask him if he's married or if he's single. I need to know. I'm like,
all right. Yeah,
okay.
I don't answer those questions in the public. The one thing I took from another thing I took from Denzel is that he's not into all of that. You would never hear about none of that in public about what he was doing or whatever his situations was. I mean, now people know now, but that wasn't a thing that he was doing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think it's for a reason. Keep people out of your business.
Yeah,
but
best. I think it's best to keep it that way too, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. But before, I want to make sure people know, like, that the launch. And I was telling you about the Creditverse, our Meta headset trades. We launching with St. John's on the 9th. I believe that's Thursday. This Thursday, we have a big launch with St. John's University on the 9th. So everybody that can tune into it, support it, be a blessing.
Be a blessing. Now, is that and let me make sure, is there anything else you want to say before we conclude this interview? Anything else?
Man. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all check me out on The Family Business, New Orleans, streaming on BET right now. And make sure you check my movie out. I Got Problems, streaming on BET. And the new project is coming soon. Snack Bar comedy I wrote. And Demisi, a sci-fi I wrote, which with Tretch involved is in that one as well. So got some projects coming.
All right. Well, Jermel Howard.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you taking the time to stop by and talk to the TieGame Michael show. So it's greatly appreciated. If you need me for anything, holla at me.
Yes, sir.
Don't matter what it is, man. Just, we can reach out to each other.
But absolutely. Appreciate you, brother.
Definitely a great interview. You're a great person to interview. And I like the way this interview turned out.
Indeed. Have fun, man. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, no matter what goes on in life, the facts remains the same. There's no game but TieGame. This is the TieGame Michael show. Y'all take care. Have a good night.